Ladies and gentlemen, there's many followers on the channel of minor hockey of the 60s and 70s, and a lot of Baltimore Clipper fans and AHL fans of a certain age remember this player. Now, he's the last goalie to play without a face mask, and probably one of the roughest goalies of his era, and I think one year he led the NHL in penalty minutes. Of course, we have to talk about the pride of Hamilton, Ontario, that 6 foot 185 sideburn drink of water, Andy Brown. Now, Andy, again born in Hamilton, February 15, 44, played the NHL for Detroit and Pittsburgh and the Indy Racers of the WHA. Now, ironically, he only played in about 20 playoff games during his long AHL and NHL career and WHA career. Made a good impact, but they call him fearless for a reason. To play in the NHL against Bobby Hull, against Bobby Orr, Beliveau, Lafleur, Marcel Dion, Gordie Howe, all these players, not having a helmet. Fortunately, he never took a bang. Now, in the 74 season, I mentioned that before, he pretty well was well established with Pittsburgh. In that season, he incurred 60 minutes in penalties, which was then the NHL record for penalty minutes in a season by a goalie, which has been demolished through years, of course, by Hextall and the rest. He was, again, the last goalie to play without a mask. This was on April 7th, 74, in a 6-3 loss to Atlanta. Now, when he jumped to the WHA, he continued to play a mask throughout his last 3 seasons in that association. And again, his insistence on playing bareface earned him several nicknames, and the ones we can print here is Fearless. Now, hockey ran deep in his family. His father, Adam, also played the NHL as a left winger. Now, if you look at the raw stats, it doesn't tell the whole story of argument. Now, minor career included a time with the Brampton 7-Ups of the OHA and the Guelph Royals of the OHA in 1963. He played 40 games that year. Now, with the Johnstown Jets of the EHL, he played 70 full games that year, with 53 minutes in penalties with a 37, 31, and 2 record. Now, he did take time that year to play in 1 game for the Baltimore Clippers, where he gave up 3 goals in 14 minutes for a very deep 12.86 average. Now, 67 with Long Island Ducks, he played 46 games, 3.09 average, 3 shutouts. Back to the Jets in 68. In 72 games, he went 38, 25, and 9, playing in 2 postseason contests. Now, again, 3 seasons with the Clippers put out some dynamite numbers: 41, 40, and 50 games, 3.63 average, 3.60 average, and 71, 2.88 average, 29, 14, and 7. 72 with the Fort Worth Kings, he played 16 games, and also with the Tidewater Wings of the AHL, so he jumped from the CHL to the AHL, and then have time that year to play 10 games with the Red Wings, and his unofficial rookie campaign with a 4-5-1 record. 73, he played 22 games with Fort Worth, then back with Detroit for 7 games with a 2-1-2 record. Now, what's kind of ironic here, ladies and gentlemen, 1973, he found his way as well, that campaign from Detroit to Pittsburgh, where he had a 3-4-2 record. His full campaign with Pittsburgh as their kind of number 1 backup in 74, the 60 minutes and penalties, 3.53 average, 13, 16, and 4. Now, 3 seasons with the Racers, he was the number 1 in 75, 15, 30, and 35 with a 4.15 average. 76 with the Racers, 9, 11, and 2 in 24 contests. 77 played 10 games with a 1, 4, and 1 record. So, again, overall, again, it doesn't tell the real numbers how good he was on these teams, because a lot of his squad mates who jumped to the NHL and WHA after he played with him showed he was successful playing with anybody. WHA 25, 50, and 3 shutouts, 3.94 average. NHL 22, 26, and 9, 3.79 average with 1 shutout. Never played in the NHL or WHA playoff game. Now, ironically, the Red Wings had claimed Brown in the interleague draft from Baltimore in 71. But he was eventually traded for, of all people, the draft pick that brought in Nelson Payette The Red Wings again traded Brown to the Penguins in a third rounder, like Andy was getting more and more confidence as a goalie. Now, they asked him once, I think it was Stan Fischler, or it could have been Hockey Digest or whatever, why do you play without a mask? And Andy said, well, I don't think of it, because he said, I'm used to it by now. But a lot of people are kind of wondering how come he got little recognition compared to Gump Worsley. Gump Worsley, again, was the last major player of the 1960s not to wear a mask, and Andy, again, was a misnomer. I don't think anybody, even in preseason after that end of the 74 campaign, wore a mask in the NHL, but with the WHA, it was more of a rebel league. But, I mean, his time with the Johnstown Jets and the Baltimore Clippers were legendary, and we've had different people on the channel talk about that, especially a John Brophy fan talking about how Andy was so well respected for being so talented and being literally so fearless. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is our latest WHA NHL combination podcast. If you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, and subscribe. And something to mention, ladies and gentlemen. I have a good friend in Quebec, the former Nordique, Alan Globinski, and we're talking the other night of how Eastern Canadians especially miss the WHA. That's a misnomer. Everybody in the States and Canada of a certain age, and you know what age you are, you're probably over 50, we miss the WHA. We miss the rinks. We miss the women at the rinks who would show up. We miss the 4,000 fans that would try to fill a 16,000-seat arena. We miss the announcers. We miss the uniforms. We miss the jerseys. We miss the the big line in Winnipeg. We miss Gordie Howe and his sons. We miss J.C. Tremblay with the Nordiques. We miss Mark Tardif with the Nordiques. The Calgary Cowboys. The LA Sharks, all the great teams. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest thing that pro hockey was ever given is that 7 or 8, 9 year length of the WHA, because it made the league better. It brought in Europeans. It brought in a whole new group of fans. If only, ladies and gentlemen, we could have found a way to bring in the Birmingham Bulls or the Cincinnati Stingers or some of the later teams, Indy Racers as well, because I think they could have been a big, and the Minnesota Fighting Saints, of course. Can you imagine 2 major pro teams in Minnesota? All the rivalry we could have promoted. So, ladies and gentlemen, give us a share as well. And don't forget, requests are always appreciated and always highly considered. Thanks for listening. Bye.